Welcome to the Thyroid Fix podcast. I'm your host, Amy Horniman, functional medicine practitioner, functional nutritionist, and thyroid and weight loss expert. We're talking all things thyroid hormone and health related in order to empower, educate, and transform you. So if you're ready to get your life back, then let's get started. Okay, welcome everyone to the Thyroid Fix podcast. Today I have two very special guests on, and I'm so excited to have them on the show. It is the stars of the Thyroid 30 and Thyroid Refresh, which we're going to dive into what that is, give you all the links because I'm fascinated by what they've done for the thyroid community. So this is Danna Bowman and Ginny Mahar. Danna and Ginny are the co-founders of Thyroid Refresh, a diet and lifestyle support platform for thyroid patients. After struggling alone during the early phases of their own healing journeys that we'll be talking about, they teamed up to create the positive healing community and resources they needed as thyroid patients themselves. So this is going to be a game changer for you, and you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. The latest introduction, the latest member of the family to the Fixer line is Metabolism Fixer. And this, oh my God, I formulated this just for all my people out there that need to lose weight, that need help in the weight loss department, that can't lose weight no matter what they do, that feel like they have a slow metabolism, and that might be thinking of trying all those peptides out there, you know, the Beverly Hills soccer mom drug of choice for weight loss peptides. Or even if you're on them already and you're like, man, these are really expensive and I'm still not losing weight, add in Metabolism Fixer. Here's what I did. I took the power of T2, which increases your basal metabolic rate while you are sitting there watching Netflix. You're burning fat while you're watching Netflix. I combined it with a very unique patented ingredient called Suppressa. Suppressa has multiple clinical trials backing its efficacy in reducing your appetite, decreasing snacking, and providing way more control over your food intake. It is amazing. We also see improved emotional well-being, just decreased food cravings all around, reduced hunger, and weight management. Add on top of that, we have green tea extract. We have purple forest purple tea extract, both of which affect the metabolism in a very positive way without the jitters of normal fat burning supplements out there from the 1980s and 90s, right? The ones that made you feel like you're having a heart attack. You will not have that in any of my supplements, Thyroid Fixer or Metabolism Fixer. But Metabolism Fixer, ooh, yeah, we kicked it up a notch. It is in powder form, so you can drink it through your day. It's going to flavor your water. We got orange crush and refreshing citrus. I love them both. It is going to keep you under control all day long. So you throw a couple scoops in your water bottle in the morning, throw a scoop or two in your water bottle throughout the day. You will have fat burning and appetite control the entire day for what? An eighth of a price of the peptides? Oh my God, you can't go wrong. So grab some Metabolism Fixer today. Please let me know how you do on it. I am super excited for you. Super excited. They are the creators of the revolutionary wellness game, Thyroid 30. That's what I really want to talk about. And co-hosts of Thyroid Refresh TV, a podcast featuring the world's leading experts on thyroid-specific diet and lifestyle. They recently released the Thyroid 30 tune-up in collaboration with Mary Showman, providing patients with an owner's manual for reducing symptoms and optimizing treatment. So welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
And today we will be talking about the 8 daily rituals of Thyroid-Healthy Living that you two will dive into and provide us with great information. But I want you to tell the listeners a little bit about yourselves. How did you start? How did you get into this thyroid world?
Well, Danna was here first, so she should start.
Okay.
She got into the thyroid thing first.
I did. And it was kind of a strange roundabout thing. You know, I had issues growing up my whole life. but I just kind of passed them off as this or that. I had headaches, and then, I had dry skin, but none of it ever really, collided until I was in my 40s. I was living in Costa Rica, and I had a perpetual, really low grade fever for like 4 months, like 99.5, 99.7, nothing really, but a headache. And I was really tired. So I went to a doctor, just a local doctor in Costa Rica, which was really amazing. And she did a full thyroid panel. Go figure. Mm-hmm. And said, you have thyroid disease, but you need to see, a specialist. So I did. And we had one in Costa Rica. And he told me that I had Hashimoto's. Now, basically, he said I had Hashimoto's, but that was low thyroid. Mm-hmm. And he didn't mention adrenal or diet, lifestyle, gluten, nothing, zero. He just said, you have low thyroid, and here is the, Synthroid of Costa Rica.
Right.
And, you take this and you'll be fine. I was getting on a plane next day to go to a Zumba convention. I mean, now if there's, any of the doctors that we all know now, I mean, they would be like, oh, I don't know. Are you going to be exercising all day? I don't know. You seem pretty tired. I don't know. Maybe we should check your adrenals too. Yep. Or maybe you should I was having full on symptoms, and I just kept exercising, and I would get exhausted, like to the point where what's it worth, right? It was extreme. It was, I kept thinking, isn't exercise supposed to be good for you? I just couldn't fathom that it wasn't. And I didn't ask any questions. I had the full thyroid panel, and I had my diagnosis, but I still didn't ask any questions about the medication. And it wasn't until about a year in that I was like, maybe there's more to it. And I started researching, and the internet just blew up in my face. And I was like, why didn't I think of this before? And come to find out, there's all kinds of things, diet, lifestyle, and different medications, which I couldn't get while living there. So that's a whole nother story. But I felt kind of alone. And I thought, well, I'm just going to start a website. I don't know. I have a background in business and marketing. I'm just going to start it. I didn't know what I was doing, and I did. And I started learning and meeting people from all over the world. It was amazing. I did connect with doctors who helped me on my journey to get better. And I did, we ended up moving back to the States after 8 years living there, and got connected with some great doctors and started trying some of those simple things. Diet and lifestyle really matter. Changing some simple, like fundamental things. Better drinking water, filtered, really good filtered water. And I started noticing that I was feeling better. My test results started coming down. I started optimizing my medication, and the rest is history. Here we are. Ginny and I connected after that. I passed the baton and sold Thyroid Nation, and she and I had this light bulb moment of Thyroid 30, which she'll explain a little bit about in a minute. And it was just a blast and amazing. And it was one of those things that I thought, wow, if I had had this tool when I was alone before starting in Thyroid Nation, it would have just changed my life. And so it's been exciting and fun ever since.
I think so many listeners can relate to this because so many are, or they at least feel alone in their struggle. I hear that all the time with my patients is they really feel that sense of, I must be the only one dealing with this. I must be your worst patient ever. Like, no, you're just like this woman and this woman and this woman and this man and this woman. And I appreciate you sharing, because I think so many listeners can really relate to that on a deep level. So thank you for that. And Ginny, what's your story? I'm so happy that you two came together because you're providing the community with so much.
Aw, well, me too. Yes, it's been an amazing adventure, and I'm so glad Danna reached out to me way back when. I had a recipe blog called Hypothyroid Chef, and that's how she found me, and we started sharing ideas and just kind of hit it off. And, we're in many ways, we're different, but we're also kind of birds of a feather and like to think big and want to help. We feel a lot of passion about our mission. And so it's been a fun path. I was diagnosed in 2011, very shortly after the birth of my son. So it was a postpartum onset of what my doctor told me was just hypothyroidism. Here's your levothyroxine.
Yep.
And your TSH is normal. So you're good to go. You're fine. And, for 4 years, I spent those first 4 years after my diagnosis feeling really compromised with my health and being told by my doctor that my symptoms were either all in my head or it's just the aging process, or it doesn't have anything to do with your thyroid. Your TSH is normal, and that it wasn't necessary to change my diet or anything like that. Doesn't make a difference. And this is what thyroid patients hear, right? It's like Danna and I always say, our stories aren't really unique, but they're relatable.
Yes.
That's the thing. We are, two of the three of us here are three of millions of people who go through this struggle. And like Danna, my symptoms didn't really go away until I incorporated diet and lifestyle changes. I had to find a new doctor. I tried out different medications, did some root cause testing, and, realized I also need to get tested for Hashimoto's because, as we know, in the US, over 90% of us with hypothyroidism, in fact, have Hashimoto's. Most of us aren't tested for it by our doctors because it's deemed medically unnecessary, because it doesn't change their treatment protocol of TSH testing and levothyroxine only. Right. And Danna said, I went through a year. I wish I had went through just 1 year of that suffering. And that aloneness that you talked about, I remember feeling so wondering, what is wrong with me? Like, am I a hypochondriac? I must be going crazy. Nobody else feels this way. My doctor says I'm fine. I must be fine. But why do I feel like this? Why do I feel tired all day, every day? And like my light is going out, which is not the norm. It's not the way it's supposed to be.
No.
And I was in my, mid to late 30s. So
yeah, not how it's supposed to be. You're not just getting older.
Yeah.
Right.
But the happy ending, the happy ending was that about 6 months after sort of, starting to do some research, taking the reins of my health, learning those things, asking for a complete thyroid panel, working with a more holistic healthcare practitioner who was willing to help me with doing that detective work to figure out what are my unique root causes. I would say it was about 6 months before I had my life back. And there were some root causes we found where it was days. My energy came back within 48 hours of treating gut dysbiosis. It felt like someone had flicked the light switch back on inside me after 4 years of it being off, And so, it really, it does, like, that moment was a course correction for me in my life. And it was a major pivot with everything, my lifestyle, my life choices, my work, everything changed. I was a chef. I was like, I don't know. How can I keep cooking and eating like the standard American diet, essentially, when I know it's not making me feel very well. And so I had to really re-examine everything. And when I look back at that, I feel such a loss for that time. Those are my first 4 years of motherhood in this sick and exhausted struggle. And there were some really simple changes I could have made sooner. And I don't want that to be anybody else's story. And that's really what fuels our fire here is we want to make this easier for other people than it was for us. Easier, more doable, less lonely, more fun.
Yes.
Because this is a lifestyle, most of us are going to be dealing with this. So it's got to be enjoyable. We've got to find some way to make this something that we feel really positive about every day. And we do. And I'm excited about what we've done to try and help people do just that.
I love this. I absolutely love it because I think we're all on the same page with that. I always tell my patients, even when I'm working one-on-one with them, we have to get something that you can do the rest of your life because you're going to have this the rest of your life. There are talks about what we can put into remission. Of course, yes, we can optimize you. That's the goal, is to get you feeling
better and getting your life back and turning on that light switch, like you said, Jenny. I mean, just, letting your brain light up again. But at the same time, you have to realize maybe you will have to make some lifestyle or dietary changes that you carry out the rest of your life, but let's make it enjoyable so that you don't feel like you're deprived or like it's a burden. I mean, let's make it fun. So both you and Danna have made it fun for people. And I think that is fantastic. So before we get into the topic of today, because we could probably just talk for an hour on your stories and give inspiration and hope to anybody listening that are going, yes, I feel that way too. Oh my goodness. Yes. But tell me a little bit about the Thyroid 30 wellness game. How did you build that? How did you make it fun for people like that?
Well, as we sort of laid out, Danna and I both shared this experience that diet and lifestyle really improved our health. And, Danna, of course, had been interviewing and connecting with all the leading thyroid experts through Thyroid Nation. I love to read. I'm a researcher. I had been, reading all these books, and we're like, the whole health-oriented experts, that everyone puts their own thumbprint on it, but they're all essentially saying the same thing, that diet and lifestyle do matter. You need to optimize your meds. You need to look at other root cause factors, et cetera. But we wanted to try and take the overwhelm out of that and boil it down to something that felt more digestible and doable. And so that's where we came up with the 8 daily rituals of thyroid-healthy living. And that is what Thyroid 30 is based on. So we can get into that in a minute, but I just want to mention, when we started it really felt like we were sort of in a vacuum, like, hello, is anybody out there? I'm just completely changing the way I eat and live all by myself over here. And it was challenging for both of us. And Danna had found some support through her work, which had become, thyroid oriented. And I had found support through some generic health challenges that were really helping to give me some needed motivation and accountability and community. But I wasn't finding other thyroid patients who understood some of the unique issues that I was facing. So like when you're hanging out with a bunch of CrossFitters and you're like, yeah, I've been exhausted for the last 6 days after that Zumba class. Yeah. The general public or the thyroid healthy public, they don't really get it. So I was really hungry for that understanding. I wanted to be on this journey, not just with other people, but with people who get it and who could relate to that unique struggle that we go through as thyroid patients. So Danna and I had this lightning bolt moment that sparked this whole partnership and everything to use technology to create, a wellness challenge, basically, that was geared specifically towards thyroid patients and would give them, not just the information, not just the support group, but also the motivation and the accountability needed to take those recommendations and turn them into results. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of information out there about what to do, but how do we do it? How do we change our whole lives? So we had this idea to, use gamification and, put this whole thing together. It's a web app. That means you access it through our website, not through the app store, but it is an app. It's gamified. And that's just a fancy way of saying that we use game-based rewards, badges, scoring, teams, and data to help propel thyroid patients up that healing ladder. So we always say, we want to help you take your healing journey farther, faster. Mm-hmm. And people sometimes think, well, that's not going to work for me. I'm not a game person. I don't care about a badge or but you would be surprised. I mean, these simple gamification tools, I think what makes them work is that they really tap into positive psychology. And that's the study of human flourishing. How can we as individuals and communities flourish and thrive? So we're going into, I'm not sure when this is going to air, we're about to go into our 11th Thyroid 30 season. And it's been just incredible to watch how this program, based on just what we wanted and needed as thyroid patients, was helping so many other people like us do the same thing. Mm-hmm. And, just getting empowered, finding a positive mindset towards their healing journey, towards their own bodies. finding that self-acceptance and compassion. I mean, it's been humbling to witness and be part of people's healing journeys. It's been really awesome.
That's so
It has
amazing.
been. It has been. And one of the things that I love so much about Thyroid 30, and just basically, you hear about all these challenges, a 30-day challenge, a 60-day challenge, a 10-day challenge. We wanted to create something fun. So it is a 30-day challenge for thyroid patients. And we made it fun. And we take out the overwhelm. And you can join teams. And you access it, like Ginny said, through our website. Basically, it's just a 30-day challenge, but it's, of course, so much more than that. But what we do that I feel like is so impactful is we create this positive, happy atmosphere around thyroid disease, which is really lacking. There just isn't that. I mean, you see all the groups. I mean, I was in all the groups. And of course, there's no one to blame in that situation. It's hard to sustain positivity.
Right.
But Ginny and I worked really hard to make it so that it could be sustainably happy. And
not a place where it's not tyrannical positivity, right? It's not like, we're going to pretend this is all, sunshine and rainbows. You can absolutely go into your team and say, I'm having a really hard time.
Yep.
But I think where the positivity, where people find that new perspective on their healing journey is from the community, from knowing I'm not the only one. And I have this team of people suddenly that, we've seen friendships blossom that have spanned over years now. People come back season after season. They have built these friendships with their teammates. There's so much cheerleading that goes on. And we really just created the container for that to happen, I think is what we tried to do. And it's worked.
Wow. See, this is so good. I've always said to my patients, if I could get you all in a room so you could see that you're not alone and you could hear other people's stories and how much yours relates to theirs and how you're going through the same thing at the same time. And you've done that. You've created that support and accountability. So we'll have to talk about some type of collaboration where I can get my patients into your group because they need that. I mean, beyond me, I can give you the plan. I can give you the treatment plan. We can change your meds. We can do the testing. We can address hormones. We can address your adrenals. But then you need that support and community too. And I think that's such a great aspect.
I was going to say that's one of the really great things about Thyroid 30 is that we made it this very flexible framework so that anybody, any doctor, any practitioner, any expert could create their own team. And you can, you can create your own team and it's customizable. So we weren't prescriptive. Mm-hmm. We didn't say, it doesn't say this is the diet or this is how much sleep or it's just a framework, as Ginny said, so anybody can fit in. So we wanted to create this container that could do that for all of the doctors. So we could be the hand holders.
Okay. We're doing this. Yes.
Yes.
We're doing this.
Yeah, because, you've gone to a ton of school. You don't have the time to be hand holding people every day, day in and day out. It's your job to give the expert advice, right? And then your patients have to go apply that advice. Mm-hmm. And I think not only does Thyroid 30 help practitioners by doing some of that hand holding and providing the support and the recipes and the thyroid friendly workouts and the healing meditations and the health articles, the basic thyroid information and resources people need, but also by enabling that opportunity for some practitioners, as Danna mentioned, like we have, nutritionists and all kinds of people who captain their own teams mm-hmm. season after season. And those teams can be public or they can be private. And mm-hmm. it's like, use this tool so that we can all help thyroid patients make their healing goals a reality.
Yep. I love it. Oh, we're doing this. We're definitely doing this. This is fantastic. Amazing. So in there, you mentioned that you focus on the 8 daily rituals, just breaking things down, getting it simplified for people to be able to implement into their own daily life. So let's go through those. If you're willing to talk about those, let's give some tips to these people.
Yeah, sure. Well, and Danna already touched on this, but we're not here to dictate anybody's healing journey. Everybody walks their own path. Everybody goes at their own pace, in the way that's right for them. And we're all bio-individual. So what works for one person might not work for another. I just want to make that clear, because it's not like we give no guidance. Right. But everybody's at a different path. We have people show up who are newly diagnosed and they're completely overwhelmed with, where do I even begin? Mm-hmm. Maybe my step I'm going to focus on this season, my main focus for the season is going to be going gluten-free for the first time. And Danna and I, we use this. I don't know what I would do without it at this point. So yeah. Last season, I was working on a major gut healing reset with my healthcare practitioner. And I use Thyroid-30 for that, that community and accountability to help me through this, kind of challenge that I was going through on my own. So people can utilize the 8 daily rituals as that framework in the way that it's right for them. Number 1, they're all R words. Number 1 is remember. Just remember to take your meds and supplements. That sounds like and for a lot of people, it's a gimme, right? That's an easy point. But there are a lot of people for whom that is very difficult.
Yes.
I know I have to, do my habit stacking and all my little tricks to help me remember to take, my morning supplements and my evening supplements. And you got your thyroid medication either first thing in the morning, or some of us take it at bedtime. I mean, that can be a real challenge for some people. And we're always surprised when we survey our players at the end of the season. There's always a few people who say, this was the most difficult, life-changing
right?
part of the 8 daily rituals for me was just remembering my medication and supplements every day.
And it also depends on where you're at, because I remember, the first 3 or 4 games that we played, it was a gimme point. It was a gimme point.
Right.
But then there's a couple that have been, I remember thinking the first R, remember, I didn't have the wherewithal to be able to remember during some of the games because of where I was at with my health or my gut or my sleep or where I was, moving to, so it just kind of depends. So it's, it's very flexible. I remember thinking, wow, this isn't so easy to remember my pill. How was it so easy for you the first 4 games or whatever? Right. Yep. And so it kind of changes. And so we made it that way on purpose. We give you the framework so that it can adjust with your life.
Right, because stress can come in, chaos, stress, a pandemic, and then you tend to get overloaded and you do forget what was once a gimme, you start forgetting. And you almost make it, you take it for granted that you're going to remember. I take it for granted that I am on this, 6 a.m. and 2 p.m. schedule with my meds. But in overwhelm, I will forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the second daily ritual is refuel, and that encompasses everything you consume as far as food and drink goes. So that could be its own show, just thyroid specific nutrition, but the basic premise is, avoiding inflammatory foods and toxins in the diet, as well as maximizing nutrient density. So, going back to we do give people guidance. They can choose from 5 different dietary levels. The first one would just be gluten-free. The second one is what we call almost paleo, which is gluten, dairy, refined sugar, and soy-free, but you can have gluten-free grains. Then there's paleo. A lot of people utilizing, some form of the paleo diet. And then autoimmune protocol is level 4. And then level 5 is the custom level, where you can enter your unique dietary requirements. Because what so many of us find after we've been on this path for, a few years is, okay, maybe paleo was a good place for me to start, or gluten-free, but now I've discovered this very bio-individual diet that works for me. And I have unique dietary sensitivities and food intolerances and things that I know don't work for me. Or, we have players who are plant-based for ethical reasons or various reasons, what are your, thyroid specific nutrition goals? So you can enter that. Or if they're working with a practitioner like you and you're like, we're going to work on this specific thing with your diet for these 30 days, people can enter that. That's refuel. Number 3 is reactivate. And that's all about movement and staying active. We don't want to overwhelm people. So the goal, you get your point if you've done at least 10 minutes a day of physical activity that's appropriate for you. And what most of us find is if we go 10 minutes, we can probably go 20 or 30 and it feels good once you get going.
Right.
But that guideline gives you the motivation to just get going. And if it's 10 minutes, cool. You know, maybe that's where you're at today, but it does help inspire people to move more. And we provide a lot of thyroid friendly workouts that span all kinds of tastes, you know, from medium intensity interval training to kettlebell stuff to hip hop to yoga to bar work. You know, we've got some amazing
Tai Chi.
Yep. Qigong.
Qigong, Tai Chi. Yeah. One of the things I was going to say really quickly and interject is Ginny's going to go through the 8 daily rituals, and, you know, they're pretty easy, and there's lots of I say easy. They're easy to do if you're, you know, on this journey. But one of the things that we really kind of emphasize is take 1 or 2 of these 8 daily rituals and focus on those. So when she mentioned reactivate, it's our movement point. And if that's the 8 daily ritual that you're going to kind of focus on for this game or this particular, you know, season, then do 10 minutes of intentional movement. You know, you can get 10 minutes of exercise by walking around your house all day and picking up stuff, right? I mean, you can, anybody, you know, you can mostly get, if you're trying to pick up after kids, where you can get 10 minutes. But if this is going to be your focus for this season, and you're going to put most of your emphasis on movement, then that point can mean something different to you. And that can mean 10 minutes of intentional workout or movement. So you are exercising. You're not just getting the point through what your daily movement is. And that goes with all the different 8 daily rituals. So
yeah. And you're not, I mean, even though we encourage people to like pick what is your main goal for this 30 days, that's like a compass point. So on those days when you're overwhelmed and you can't do all 8 daily rituals, or, you know, what I'm focusing on right now is movement. I'm focusing on reactivate. Did I do that? Did I make that a priority? So, but you're still, because you're tracking those other points, you're still gaining awareness, you're building awareness, you're absorbing information that, you know, we provide and from your other teammates on all the 8 daily rituals. So just a helpful way to say, don't feel like this has to be, it's not about perfection. It's not about having a 10-point day every day. It's about where are you at? Where do you want to get to? How can we help you get there? Let's make it, you know, digestible, not stressful, and doable for you. Another thing I want to mention about the reactivate thing is, you know, this is surprising to a lot of thyroid patients, but there's a little more to exercise for thyroid patients because so many of us experience issues like exercise fatigue, hypermobility, connective tissue disorders, inflammation. A lot of us are autoimmune patients. So super heavy duty exercise can send us into an autoimmune flare. So, you know, it's really important to listen to your body. You know, we're just always told eat less, exercise more. And then as thyroid patients, we go, why do I feel so horrible? Why isn't this working for me? That can be a real eye opener for people.
Definitely.
It is. And you do, you know, and you grow up thinking, not just hearing from the doctor, you know, eat less, exercise more. We've grown up thinking exercise and exercise hard and exercise. And the more, you know, the harder it is, the more, you know, you benefit you get from it. Just all these kind of, you know, stigmas and things that you're kind of used to. But I was a Zumba instructor and I basically kind of had a flare every day because I was exercising so hard. I got really flushed, terrible headache, exhausted to this extreme of 2 to 3 hour naps. And I was a Zumba instructor. So I was teaching.
Right.
Right. So I was going through my own little mini flares, thinking to myself, this can't be the exercise because exercise is really good for you. And the harder it is, the better it is for you. Right. And so this flare did not just come from the, you know, 2 hours of Zumba class I just taught. It just can't be. And that's what Jenny's talking about. You know, you really do have to listen to your body. And sometimes less is more.
Less is more. If you have a type A hypothyroid patient, they're going to think that, well, if a little is good, then more must be better. And all or nothing. You know, a lot of people have that all or nothing. Since I can't get to the gym for an hour, I'm just not going to do anything today. Whereas you're breaking it down saying, take a 10-minute walk and be focused. Don't be on your phone. Don't be making phone calls. Just take a 10-minute walk and be present and intentional about it.
That's right.
So
Okay.
number four is repair. And this has to do with repairing and healing the gut. You know, as we know, gut health is foundational to health, foundational to thyroid health, foundational to autoimmune health. Leaky gut's been linked to, you know, among other things, food sensitivities, thyroid disorders, skin problems, weight gain. So healing the gut is an essential part of, I think, just the overall healing process. How do we incorporate that into Thyroid 30? Do one small thing today for your gut health. And that can even be as simple as reading one of our articles on gut health, educating yourself, becoming more aware of why gut health is important. Maybe you take a probiotic every day. Maybe you sipped a cup of bone broth. You know, there's so many little things you can do. You know, maybe you incorporated some foods that you know are supportive to, like our prebiotic foods, like beets and things with that prebiotic fiber that feed your good bacteria. I mean, there's so many different little things you can do that aren't overwhelming. Did you do one small thing today? Did you think about your gut health today is really what at that point comes down to.
Little things make a big difference. They really do.
Number 5 is rejuvenate. And this is, I think Danna and I can agree, this is our favorite, our personal favorite. And I know for me, rejuvenate is self-care, daily self-care. So like the reactivate point, it's 10 minutes. Can you set aside 10 minutes for some daily self-care and stress management? Because as thyroid patients, we've got to really be mindful of our stress and our cortisol levels. We want to avoid adrenal imbalance. That stress can throw off our thyroid hormones. It can affect our metabolism, lead to weight gain. We're already sort of up against some challenges with low thyroid, especially, you know, having trouble losing weight, and just rejuvenate's about really becoming more mindful about how we cope with stress. And I really feel it's one of the most powerful aspects of Thyroid 30. I know for me, it became something that was like, okay, well, this is on my to-do list to meditate or take a bath or, you know, put my headphones on and listen to my favorite music for a few minutes. To now it's like, I got to do my self-care, you know, like, no, I'm not available for the next 30 minutes, you know,
higher priority.
It's so enjoyable and life-changing. And when people come to us and say, like, we had a player last season who was like, I'm a frontline healthcare worker. I'm a mom. My kids are home. I'm so excited to be here doing Thyroid 30, but I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. It's, you know, I can't do anything extra. And our answer is always, if there's only one thing you can do, get your rejuvenate point. That daily self-care is foundational.
And for someone like her, I would say you just get the 10 minutes, however you can, right? And for someone else who can get the 10 minutes and it's not such a struggle, I would say, and try to be intentional about it. So, you know, it's one thing to be sitting in the bath, but be on your phone or kids coming in and out. But you've got your 10 minutes because you've sat in the bath for 10 minutes. Okay, that's not exactly where we want to end up. What we want it to look like is 10 minutes of intentional
you time.
Calm, happy, relaxed, you know, where you're sitting there and you're in the moment. I'm in a bath. This bath is great. This bath is great for me. I'm going to put some bubbles in, or I'm going to put some Epsom salt or whatever it is that, you know, and you just kind of clear. You clear everything. You take your parasympathetic nervous system into account. Right. You just make everything kind of work for your body, and you're grateful in that moment. And so that's what you want to get to. But if you can't, then you take the 10 minutes, however you can get it.
And that's
you get
scientifically proven. I mean, when we tap into the parasympathetic nervous system and calm down the sympathetic, biological changes happen in our body. Cortisol goes down, hormones balance out. I mean, this isn't just like a foo-foo thing to do. It's not, I used to think meditation was just something I didn't have time for. And I can never just sit there and be with my thoughts and close my eyes and take time for myself. When I learned the science behind it, that it can change chemistry in your body. It can change neurotransmitters. That's when I was hooked, because I want to see something scientific. I want to see proof that something is happening in my body. And studies have shown proof that this happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know one thing I really noticed was I incorporate meditation a lot, and we're both busy moms, we're running a business here. It can be a lot sometimes. So what I would do is I would get in bed and do a sleep meditation. And, there's so many great apps, free apps, that you can use for quick guided meditations. I've got really into yoga nidra meditations, which are amazing before bed. And I could see from my Fitbit data, I like the data too, I could see how my sleep quality was improving. I was getting more deep restorative sleep, and my hair shedding. Now, my hair shedding has been like one of my most pesky symptoms, totally stress, correlated to my stress levels, but also, to my thyroid. The meditation practice is really what made a huge difference in my hair shedding.
Isn't that amazing? Seriously, if you just stop and think about that, that is amazing. Of all the things, there's pills and there's this and there's that, and you can scrub and shampoos and take and don't take and eat and don't eat. Meditating, and her hair stopped shedding.
Right. And I had been taking the biotin supplements and, just pop a pill. No, you really need to address your stress, Ginny. You need to set aside some time for you to power down at night. And then it was just like this domino effect, because not only am I getting my rejuvenate point and finding some self-care time, I'm in bed, I'm also improving my sleep quality.
Right.
And then I get up and shower in the morning, and there's less hair in the drain. Woohoo! From
amazing.
Putting on a sleep meditation before bed. So that's number 5, rejuvenate. Number 6 is reduce. And this is about reducing the toxins in your home and body. And one thing we always make really clear off the bat, this isn't a detox, this isn't a hardcore detox program. Thyroid disorder, we have to be careful with how we detox, because we don't want to end up in an autoimmune flare. We don't want to overstress the body. And what sort of overarching expert opinion that we hear over and over is, yes, it matters. Your toxin load matters, but a gentle approach to reducing toxins in your body. And also, really, I think our focus at Thyroid 30 is empowering people to just reduce the environmental toxins in their home, in their cleaning products, in their beauty products. There's things you can do also to support your body's natural detox pathways, like the liver and the kidneys, eating beets. Again, beets are coming up a little bit today, right? Eating beets, there's dandelion, there's all kinds of little things, artichokes, eating more artichoke. There's little things we can consume, incorporate into our diet that help us not only earn our reduce point, but just help us process some of the problematic environmental toxins, because thyroid disorder and autoimmune disease has been linked to heavy metals and environmental toxins.
Definitely.
So, we've got information on how cilantro, when I eat out, if I go to we have a place where you can get, bowls, it's all kinds of, it's all gluten-free. I love it. It's such healthy fast food. And one of the options at the end for garnishes is cilantro. I'm always like, can I have double or triple cilantro, please? Just load it on there, because just one example, cilantro is a natural chelator. It helps our body process and excrete heavy metals. So there's little things like that. And again, the reduce point you can earn just through reading one of our articles on what you can do to reduce environmental toxins in your home products and your beauty products, what you can do to support those detox pathways, and simple little tiny things you can do each day to just make sure that you're incorporating your awareness of environmental toxins and what they mean for us.
And just what's in your products. I mean, when I started on that journey of removing the toxins and especially the parabens and the phthalates and BPA. When I started on that journey, I remember flipping over my very, very expensive face line of, medical grade facial products and seeing methylparaben, polyparaben, this paraben, that paraben. I was like, crap, throw that out. So, it's just making those small, sometimes difficult changes because you're going to be throwing out some of your Bath and Body Works stuff. Yeah. But very, very important. And all those changes will add up to take, like you said, that stress load, that allostatic load off of your body. If I have you carry around a 20-pound bag all day, you're going to be tired at the end of the day. If I remove that load off of your back, you're going to be like, whoa, I'm moving so much better. I feel great. I'm more energized. It's the same thing with toxins in your body, especially with Hashimoto's.
Yeah. So number 7 is relish your small victories. And this is the way that you earn your relish point is by when you check in and record your daily score and you go through, we got a little card, the 8 daily rituals. Did you earn your points and all that? The way you earn your relish point is by going to our social, area in the app and connecting with your team. So it's kind of like Facebook where people post status updates and can comment and like and share links to resources and things like that. That's been, I think, whereas like the rejuvenate, the self-care thing on an individual level is so profound. I think just in a community level, the relish point is so powerful. That is something that we hear every season is, I didn't think it was going to make a difference to me to like connect with people and the whole social thing. I wasn't really so excited about that. Now I'm a believer. I don't know how I got through this. It was so amazing and inspiring to connect with other people like me who know what this journey is like, who are dealing with things like a limited supply of energy, dealing with food sensitivities, new food sensitivities popping up, or why am I having these gut issues again,
Or dealing with the pandemic.
Yeah.
When it first started and people were just in it like, I've fallen off because I don't know what to do. And so it was it has all these different little things that you just don't realize are going to be so profound and how you connect with people. I mean, of course, very similar to Facebook, but Facebook is just, nowadays it's different than it was. So and we try to keep it very positive still.
Yes.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Danna. Didn't it feel just like a lifeline during those first couple seasons after the pandemic began? And a lot of people sort of pared back on the more goal oriented. Oh, I'm here to, I'm like I'm on my gut healing protocol, working with my naturopath or whatever. It was like, I'm just here to like make sure that I'm keeping my head above water right now.
That's it. And that's what it was.
Getting my sleep and eating good food and having support and being okay and knowing that I'm not alone. It was really powerful.
It was like the second one was like, and I'm here because I didn't eat good food. And so
I've been drinking every day.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to try to drink better, but also I just want to tell everybody I'm not, and I want to see what they say. And they all said, we are too. So it's okay. Right. Because everybody's
donuts
in the
and red wine are not sustainable. And this pandemic, we can see now it's going to be a while. So that's totally what happened. Like the second or third season. And it was like, okay, now I got to undo some of what I just did. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. But that's what we're here for. So I don't think we mentioned this, but Thyroid 30 happens 4 times a year. So it's got that like seasonal, we play for 30 days, then we've got a couple months off, we play for 30 days. And so it's got this really nice rhythm where that pause between seasons is intentional. And that's where we say the real work begins and you really start to make the new healthy habits you've implemented and learned about in Thyroid 30. That's where you start to make them your new normal without the checking in every day and doing the extra of Thyroid 30. But then we can come back to Thyroid 30 and not only make progress towards whatever our healing goals are, but we can come back to it and also get back on track because that can happen. It's easy to sort of go down the slippery slope that one donut becomes a daily donut or a daily sugar habit or whatever it is, Okay, I think we're to the last one.
Okay.
8. 8 is recharge, and that is your sleep point. So
important.
Yeah, so important. Absolutely foundational to our health. And, in addition to like telling, that frontline healthcare worker mom, in addition to your rejuvenate point, sleep, make sure you're getting your sleep and, drinking your water and all that good stuff. Do like the basics. And sleep is so huge. And getting enough quality sleep, I think, ranks right up there with things like drinking enough water as far as just simple ways that we can reduce a lot of symptoms like brain fog, fatigue, depression. We see that all the time where people show up and go, I can barely form a coherent sentence, but oh yeah, I stay up till 1 a.m. every night watching Netflix. Then I got to get up at 6 for work and I drink 7 cups of coffee and okay, time out.
Yeah.
Time out. Let's think about
that may have been fine in your teens and maybe your 20s, but
not now. Not there anymore. Right.
No.
Yeah. And that's been a big one for you, Danna, the sleep one. It's been pretty awesome. Like since we started working together, where you were at with your sleep to where we are now, 3 years and 11 seasons in.
However, last night my sleep wasn't very good.
Well, you'll still have those.
But it's fine. No, but really my sleep, I have noticed that, and I think the meditation is actually helping me with my sleep. It all goes together.
Well, and not only is it foundational, but it's sleep issues are really common amongst thyroid patients. So that's really eye-opening and empowering for people to hear from other players. Oh, I'm having a hard time earning my sleep point. What have you done that's helped you? Or what might I be doing wrong? Or how can I make it through the night? What do I do when I fall asleep easily and I'm up at 2? Just
and
sometimes it's just little tiny adjustments that can help us get that 7 to 9 hours that we need. And when people get set up, before the game starts and they set up their profile and pick their dietary level and all of that, they set a sleep goal that's right for them. There might be, some people who really are struggling with sleep and they're only getting 5 hours. Well, maybe let's not shoot for 8, but maybe they're going to shoot for 5.5 or 6 right now. If I can get to 6, then maybe next season I can get to 6.5, so again, the ideal is 7 to 9 hours. And, we provide a lot of information on why that's important. Just point being, it's totally customizable. It's your game. Make it fit your life and your goals and make it fit what you need right now.
And
That's
for me,
beautiful.
Talking about the sleep, I can go to sleep. I can lay down right now and go to sleep right now. Staying asleep was my issue. So balancing the blood sugars, right?
Yep.
Doing the meditation. And, those things are, of course, foundational again, but they come at different places for different people. And it was just time for me. And so it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on it. I started it with one of the seasons and I counted my points. And I think 7.5 was the goal I was going for, and it worked. Sleep just makes you feel so much better. And one of the things I don't think they teach the kids, as a side note, in school, is all the different things that go on while you're sleeping. They say you need sleep, and so you're like, and then if you get 3 hours and you get up and you can do the same things during the day, mostly, as a kid, then you get up and you have 4 hours of sleep, and then so you just kind of keep going, and you don't realize the rest, digest. You don't realize all the processes and things that go on and need to happen, the repair and regeneration and things that go on while you're sleeping. Like it can't be done while you're awake.
Right.
So if you're not getting, all the drainage and all the things that your brain needs to get rid of, then it just piles up. I didn't realize that growing up.
No one taught us that. We were not taught that in health class whatsoever in school. I didn't realize the importance of sleep. And even to this day, I did a special episode on sleep. And I flat out told the listeners, I hate going through the studies on sleep because it scares me, because sometimes I don't get the best sleep either, but you really realize you will have dysregulated blood sugar if you don't sleep. You will have insulin resistance within days if you don't sleep. And then it's just going to compound back onto your host of thyroid problems that you're already dealing with. So, yep, you're going to crave sugar if you don't sleep. You're going to be more hungry. You're going to have an autoimmune flare. Your immune system is going to be down. You'll catch more colds. You'll
be more anxious, more depressed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's just freaking me out right now.
I know. I hate listening to it. I know, but it's so important. It's something that we have to focus on because it is so vitally important. And I love how all of your 8 tie back to each other. So like you were saying, Danna, when you wake up in that like 2, 3 a.m., that could be blood sugar, that could be toxins. So now if you do those little things to help push things through your liver, to detoxify your liver, you do something like beets, artichokes, drink more water, that will help with your elimination, your detoxification pathways, which a lot of times we see liver issues or burden down heavy metal toxicity when people are waking up in the middle of the night. So they all feed into each other. You do one thing, you're going to help yourself in another area.
Right.
Very cool.
Right.
I love it.
Love that.
I love it. Well, this is just amazing. I can't thank you enough for coming on here and going through these 8 rituals that you focus on in Thyroid 30, because so many of them we dismiss. So many of them we think are just no-brainers. Everybody knows this. But when, a lot of listeners right now, a lot of thyroid listeners right now are hearing you. And I guarantee they're thinking to themselves, I took that for granted. You're right. I really do need to remember to take my medication and supplements. I just talked to a patient yesterday. Her biggest thing in the last month has not been taking her second dose of medication. I said, we're not going to optimize you if you're not even on the right dose of medication. You have to remember that. So a lot of listeners right now, you're touching on points that are setting off an alarm, because I guarantee you they're sitting there thinking, yep, I don't take time for myself. I haven't gone through my closets yet to detoxify or even just get rid of the garbage products that I have that I'm putting on my body after I shower. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you two coming on and sharing this information.
Oh, thank you so much for having us and for giving us the opportunity to share it. It really is. It's one of the things we hear ourselves saying a lot, and we hear, the experts we work with and feature saying a lot. It's not one thing, it's all the things. Mm-hmm. And don't waste your time and money and energy looking for the quick fix or the one pill, the one supplement. If you're not looking at the big picture, it's going to take longer to get where you want to go. And that's what I think this helps enable people to do, is build that awareness of their daily choices, give them a little bit of motivation, not pressure them too much or overwhelm them too much. And I need to turn my life upside down today. It's okay. We can do this in incremental, doable steps. And if you don't reach every single health goal you had in 30 days, come back next season. It's not meant to be a 30-day quick fix and you're done. Goodbye. This is a lifestyle. This is a way that you can learn, grow, build awareness, connect with community, and make changes and learn things about yourself that you cannot unlearn, things that are going to serve you and your well-being for the rest of your life. So,
and that's one reason we made it so affordable, really, because we knew that this was going to be one of those things where if you don't play 4 times a year, you're probably going to play 3. Mm-hmm. Or let's say you play, 20 games and then you take a couple years off. Well, then you can come back. We made it really affordable so that it would be doable for people.
I'm so excited. I'm excited to be a part of this, and we'll talk over that. If any patients are listening, you're going to have a whole new set of tools really, really soon, because we're going to do this. So,
well, we're going to try to recruit you as a team captain as soon as we go off the air. So
I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
To make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. This is wonderful. It's just wonderful what you guys have done. I appreciate it so much. I know the community appreciates it. We will put all of your information, links, everything in the show notes, of course. Is there anything that you want to say to close out?
just know that you're not alone and that you can feel better. And if you're out there feeling too sick and tired to even do anything about it, don't underestimate that one small step. Get yourself the support that you need. Give yourself that gift and just take one small step. It doesn't have
Baby
to
steps
be,
add up.
yeah.
Baby steps. They all add up.
Yeah,
They do.
all
They add up.
Yep. And it's a message of hope that I try to give my listeners all the time. So that just adds to it, compounds on it. So thank you for that. I very much appreciate it. Well, thank you both for coming on once again. And we will definitely have you back on the podcast for more information for my listeners. I know they're going to love this episode. So thank you so much. And we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks.
It's great to be here.